Wildlife on Earth is definitely vast. Science has registered an incredibly huge number of species, but not all of them can be easily found, and millions of them are gone forever. The course of evolution and, lately, human presence-derived problems are the main reasons for the extinction of the species. Some of them have become particularly popular, and that is why we're about to show you the top 10 most famous extinct animals. 10. West African black rhinoceros. It was a subspecies of the black rhinoceros that could be found in several countries towards Southeast Africa. After being a target of widespread poaching for their coveted horns for decades, it was declared extinct by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 2011. The value of its horn is said to have increased since China started fermenting its own traditional medicine in times of Mao Zedong. It was believed to have the power to cure specific ailments and to be effective at detecting poisons because of its high alkaline content. Although they were used to fabricate a type of knife known as jambia, a kilogram of the horn could cost more than $50,000, and the extinction of the species only increases the rarity and value of the horn. Today it may cost the exact double or more. You can still find one in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show Rocksteady. One of Shredder's thugs is inspired in this animal. 9. Baihai white dolphin. Baihai is a species of freshwater dolphin whose name means white-finned dolphin in Chinese, and it is also called the Chinese river dolphin. Its population declined drastically as China industrialized and made heavy use of the river for fishing, transportation, and hydroelectricity. It has been claimed that Baihai could be the first dolphin species in history that humans have driven to extinction. The IUCN has noted the following as threats to the species: a period of hunting by humans during China's Great Leap Forward, the illegal practice of electric fishing, collisions with boats and ships, habitat loss, and pollution. After a long investigation was conducted, the expedition leaders declared it functionally extinct in December 2006. There is a well-known local fable about a beautiful girl who lived on the river Yangtze with her evil stepfather. He intended to sell her out in the market, so he took her on a boat ride to do so. He then became infatuated with her beauty and tried to take advantage of her. But she freed herself by plunging into the river, whereupon a big storm came and sank the boat. After the storm had thus settled, people saw a beautiful dolphin swimming, the incarnation of the girl, which became known as the goddess of the Yangtze, or goddess of protection, a symbol of peace and prosperity for local fishermen and boatmen. 8. Pyrenean ibex. Also known as the Iberian wild goat, the Pyrenean ibex were most common in the Cantabrian Mountains, southern France, and the northern Pyrenees. The first to become extinct was the Portuguese ibex in 1892. The Pyrenean ibex was the second, with the last individual, a female called Celia, found dead in 2000. Increasing hunting pressure and grazing competition with other animals are the main factors for their extinction. The species was often seen in parts of France, Portugal, Spain, and Andorra. A few hundred years ago, they were numerous, but by 1900, their numbers had fallen to fewer than 100. From 1910 onwards, their numbers never rose above 40, and the subspecies was found only in the Ordesa National Park in Huesca, Spain. The biotechnology company Advanced Cell Technology Incorporated announced on October 8, 2000, that the Spanish government had agreed to their offer to use nuclear transfer cloning technology in collaboration with other scientific partners to clone the Pyrenean ibex. On July 30, 2003, a cloned female ibex was born alive and survived for several minutes before dying from lung defects. This was the first attempt in history to de-extinct a species. 7. Passenger pigeon. This is an extinct species of pigeon that was once the most abundant bird in North America, numbering around 3 billion and possibly up to 5 billion. A very fast flyer, the bird fed mainly on mast and also fruits and invertebrates. It practiced communal roosting and communal breeding and was extremely sociable. Hunting is maybe the main reason for its end, since it was an important food source for the natives of North America first, and afterward for the European immigration too. Another key factor is the massive deforestation that took place in the latter 19th century to shift the agricultural limits, and also funding and expanding towns across the continent. A slow decline between 1800 and 1870 was followed by a rapid decline between 1870 and 1890. The last confirmed wild bird is thought to have been shot in 1901. Martha, thought to be the last passenger pigeon, died on September 1, 1914 at the Cincinnati Zoo. 6. Tasmanian Tiger. The thylacine was a formidable top predator, considered to be the largest known carnivorous marsupial ever. It is also referred to as the Tasmanian tiger because of its striped lower back, or the Tasmanian wolf because of its canid-like characteristics. It's native to Tasmania, where the last known live animal was captured in 1933, New Guinea, and the Australian mainland. It was a relatively shy and nocturnal animal and appeared like a medium to large-sized dog, except for its stiff tail and abdominal pouch similar to a kangaroo's, and dark transverse stripes that radiated from the top of its back, reminiscent of a tiger. Its closest living relative is either the Tasmanian devil or the numbat. You may remember Tasmania, the Warner Brothers cartoon character inspired in it. Curiously, several cash rewards have been offered for proof of its continued existence. In 1983, the American media mogul Ted Turner offered a $100,000 reward. In March 2005, Australian news magazine The Bulletin offered a $1.25 million reward for the safe capture of a live specimen. Also, $1.75 million has been offered by the Tasmanian tour operator Stuart Malcolm. Trapping is illegal under the terms of the thylacine's protection, so any reward made for its capture is invalid since a trapping license would not have been issued. The thylacine has been used extensively as a symbol of Tasmania. At the time of the first European settlement in Tasmania, it slowly began to be credited with numerous attacks on sheep. This led to the establishment of bounty schemes in an attempt to control their numbers. Between 1888 and 1909, the Tasmanian government paid £1 per head for dead adult thylacines and 10 shillings for pups. Its extinction is probably attributed to these relentless efforts by farmers and bounty hunters. However, multiple factors likely led to its decline and eventual extinction. 5. Stellers Sea Cow. It is an extinct sirenian named after George Willem Steller, who first encountered it around 1741 on Bering's Great Northern Expedition after the crew became shipwrecked on Bering Island. Its range at the time of its discovery was apparently restricted to the shallow seas around the Commander Islands, which included Bering and Copper Islands. Much of what is known about its behavior comes from Steller's observations, documented in his posthumous publication on the beasts of the sea. According to his notes, its meat tasted similar to corned beef, though it was tougher, redder, and needed to be cooked longer. The meat was abundant on the animal and slow to spoil, perhaps due to the high amount of salt in the animal's diet, effectively curing it. The fat could be used for cooking and an odorless lamp oil, which made it very valuable. The thick, leathery hide could be used to make clothing such as shoes and belts and large skin boats. It is no surprise the slow-moving and easily caught mammal was hunted into extinction for its meat, fat, and hide. The German-Russian naturalist John Friedrich von Brandt considered the species as extinct after 27 years of its discovery by Europeans in 1768. In 1887, it was estimated there had been fewer than 1,500 individuals. It was claimed to be seen in small groups in 1962 by a whaling ship. It is featured in the story The White Seal from the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. 4. Great Auk. The great auk is a species of flightless alcid that became extinct in the mid-19th century. It is not closely related to penguins, which were discovered later and named by sailors because of their physical resemblance to the great auk. It bred on rocky, isolated islands with easy access to the ocean and plentiful food supply, a rarity in nature that provided only a few breeding sites for the great auks. When not breeding, they spent their time foraging in the waters of the North Atlantic, ranging as far south as northern Spain and along the coastlines of Canada, Greenland, Iceland, and Faroe Islands, Norway, Ireland, and Great Britain. The great auk is an important part of many Native American cultures, both as a food source and as a symbolic item. Many maritime archaic people were buried with great auk bones. Early European explorers to the Americas used the great auk as a convenient food source or as fishing bait, reducing its numbers. The Little Ice Age may have reduced the population of the great auk by exposing more of their breeding islands to predation by polar bears, but massive exploitation by humans for their feathers used to make pillows drastically reduced the population and is considered to be the main driver of its extinction. Also, its growing rarity increased interest from European museums and private collectors in obtaining skin and eggs of the bird. In 1844, the last 2 confirmed specimens were killed. The great auk is quite popular in literature. Notable cases are Penguin Island, a satirical novel by Anatole France, James Joyce's famous novel Ulysses, and Igor Stravinsky's opera The Rake's Progress. 3. The dodo. The dodo is an extinct flightless bird that was endemic to the island of Mauritius, east of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. It was variously declared as a small ostrich, a rail, an albatross, or a vulture by early scientists. Though the dodo has historically been considered fat and clumsy, it is now thought to have been well adapted for its ecosystem. It is presumed that it became flightless because of the ready availability of abundant food sources and a relative absence of predators on Mauritius. Like many animals that evolved in isolation from significant predators, the dodo was entirely fearless of humans. In addition to its inability to fly, this made the dodo easy prey for sailors. The human population on Mauritius never exceeded 50 people in the 17th century, but they introduced other animals which plundered dodo nests and competed for limited food resources. The impact of the introduced animals on the dodo population, especially the pigs and macaques, is today considered more severe than its hunting. Many endemic species of Mauritius became extinct after the arrival of humans, so the ecosystem of the island was badly damaged. Before humans arrived, Mauritius was entirely covered in forests, but very little remains of them today because of deforestation. The surviving endemic fauna is seriously threatened. The dodo has been used widely in literature and popular culture as a symbol of an outdated concept or object. Dodo is also a slang term for a stupid, dull-witted person, as it was said to be stupid and easily caught. The bird was featured as a character in Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Some controversy surrounds the date of their extinction. The last widely accepted record of a dodo sighting is the 1662 report by a shipwrecked Dutch mariner. 2. Woolly mammoth. Though woolly mammoths went extinct about 10,000 years ago, humans know quite a bit about them. The permafrost of the Arctic preserved many woolly mammoth bodies almost intact. Research found the ancestors of the mammoth originated in Africa 6.7 million to 7 million years ago. During millions of years, they moved up from southern Europe and later even further to the area that is now called Siberia and the northern plains of Canada. Woolly mammoth bones were used as a construction material for dwellings by both Neanderthals and modern humans during the Ice Age, and their ivory tusks were used to create art objects and weapons. Several Venus figurines made from it are known, as well as daggers and spears. This animal is featured in the Ice Age movie saga. The woolly mammoth's survival in much colder climates is credited by researchers to small genetic mutations that may have helped them to keep themselves warmer. This species is a good candidate for de-extinction. There is a project called the Woolly Mammoth Revival that is working towards making this idea a reality. The most recently published date of extinction is 5,600 years ago. 1. Sabretooth Tiger. This is the popular name for the Smilodon, but it was not closely related to the tiger or any other modern cats. It is featured in the Ice Age saga along with the woolly mammoth, and has probably inspired some aspects of Marvel's villain Sabretooth. Smilodon was robust and had exceptionally long upper canine teeth, about 7 inches long, and could open its mouth an astounding 130 degrees, almost twice the gape of modern cats. Tigers and panthers' tooths have canines that are circular in cross-section. This common design helps prevent the teeth from fracturing. But Smilodon's canines were long and narrow, making them far easier to break. By taking a bite of struggling targets, the big cat risked snapping a tooth. So just to be safe, it probably immobilized its dinner first, using its forelimbs. Relative to other felines, the predator had disproportionately thick front legs, so it assumed it must have used its forelimbs more often than other cats did. Its diet was based on preying large animals such as bison, giant ground sloths, young mammoths and mastodons, horses, camels, etc. Some facts about these creatures are unknown, like if they were social or solitary hunters or their coat pattern that, however, was artistically restored. Smilodon might have used its teeth to cleanly slice through its prey's jugular and windpipe, but some scientists hypothesize that, based on its strong neck, the cat might have repeatedly stabbed its prey in a slasher movie style by thrusting its head back and forth. It became extinct around 10,000 years ago. Through evolution, species arise through the process of speciation, where new varieties of organisms arise and thrive when they are able to find and exploit an ecological niche, which is the match of a species to a specific environmental condition. On the other hand, species become extinct when they are no longer able to survive in changing conditions or against superior competition. Did you know that more than 99% of all species, amounting to over 5 billion species that ever lived on Earth, are estimated to have died out? It is considered that a typical species becomes extinct within 10 million years of its first appearance. As you can see, in many cases human activity is the cause for some species to say goodbye. It is certainly an alert call we should take seriously in terms of stopping indiscriminate contamination, reducing global warming to a minimum, and likewise issues. But at the same time, it is undeniable that, as sad as it may be sometimes, extinction is a process much bigger than humans can control, at least for now. Although bioethical concerns have been expressed by many members of the scientific community, cloning of other extinct species seems to be around the corner. Which of these animals would you like to see on Earth again, and why? You may let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to stay tuned for upcoming videos.